Hi guys! So this morning I was asked the question, how long does it take to go from insulin resistant to being insulin sensitive? So I've spoken in my other videos about being insulin resistant, and this is where we've been spiking our insulin for far too long and our bodies are not able to cope with the insulin anymore. So we are insulin resistant. So first I'm going to explain that, and then I'm going to tell you how long it's going to take. So what is insulin resistance? Insulin resistance is where your own body is resisting the hormone insulin. Insulin is released by your pancreas and it is your blood sugar control hormone. So I'll explain that now. So that is that it cannot work properly. So basically, we need to operate, each cell in our body needs to operate with insulin to control our blood sugar. And when we are insulin resistant, which many people are, they reckon about 85% of the Western population are insulin resistant, is because we cannot cope with the release of insulin and our bodies do not respond, our cells do not respond in the way that they should to insulin. So what is the hormone insulin? Insulin is a hormone that plays a critical role in regulating blood sugar, also referred to as blood glucose. And this is where some confusion comes in, but for the moment, we'll say blood sugar or blood glucose. Insulin allows cells to absorb blood glucose to be used as energy, or if there is excess blood glucose, to be stored as fat or glycogen. This is why insulin gets a bad rap, because it is also the fat storage hormone. So if there's excess glucose in the blood glucose, blood sugar, insulin will dictate to the liver and to the cells in your body to store that as glycogen or fat. Insulin ensures that we have stable blood sugar, and I'm going to explain that one. So what is being insulin sensitive? Now, I am insulin sensitive because I've been on the ketogenic diet for quite a while, and I still do eat carbs occasionally. I have other videos to show that I had a debaucherous Christmas where, sorry, where I ate and drank as much as I wanted, and I am still insulin sensitive. So my body, when it is required, and when a lot of insulin is released because of carbohydrates, and I'm going to explain that one as well, is I am insulin sensitive, so my body can handle excess carbohydrates quite well. What is being insulin sensitive? This is where your own body is responding correctly to the hormone insulin. So each cell in my body and my liver responds very well to the release of insulin, which manages my blood glucose or blood sugar level so that I'm in a stable level, so that I am able to function in a good way, so that it can work properly. Why do I want to be insulin sensitive? So the reason I want to be insulin sensitive is for two reasons. One is to maintain correct and even blood sugar so that I'm always at a nice even level of energy, also known as blood glucose. So to keep those levels fairly regular so that I'm not like sudden weakness or too high blood sugar and I can't cope with that either. And also the second reason, and very important, this is one that we forget, and this is the reason that I stay cycling in and out of ketogenic diet, is so as not to damage my mitochondria. Now, what the fuck is a mitochondria? We're going to say that in a minute. As damaged mitochondria can lead to cancer. So if I have a damaged mitochondria over time, it takes time. Listen, just because I had a lot of potatoes and chocolate and alcohol last night doesn't mean I'm going to get cancer today. This takes time to happen. So it takes years. This is why you say something like dementia takes years. It's damaged mitochondria. So that allows then the cancer to get a hold of a damaged mitochondria or damaged cell, and then to become this little tiny danger, and then it can, you know, it starts fermenting and it starts getting worse and worse and worse, and chronic illness. So if I do keto, how long before I become insulin sensitive? From being insulin resistant, 3 days. 3 days, but you must be strict. Now I've put up this meal because this is affordable. When I first started keto, I would eat these chicken frankfurters Now, some keto people are totally against any kind of highly processed food like the Frankfurters, and they do have some contents in them that are um, maybe not ideal. However, when you're starting off, it doesn't matter how you get the carbs out of your diet, just get them out. And at the beginning, I was quite a novice, and this was the best I could manage. I'm not the greatest cook. I could cook, and I am a good cook when I put my mind to it. But I really hate spending time cooking, so I do what I can. And also, I tend to cook very like 3 or 4 dishes. That's it. I'm not even really able after that. So I could do these and also I take, if I'm hungry, I want it now. So these chicken frankfurters, I mean, I still use them occasionally, but I use them for a long time on the ketogenic diet. Do what you can. Boiled eggs, and also budget is important. Not everybody has access to farmers markets, to the cost of those things, and they do great work, those farmers. We don't all have access to that. And also you might have kids that you want to feed at some kind of keto. So this is a great way of the middle ground, let's say. So you're getting off of carbs, and okay, it's not ideal, but I actually think those chicken frankfurters are pretty good. And I also was using, see those sauces there, that's the French mustard. Now that has a little bit of sugar in it. Don't worry too much about those things initially. Mustard is good for you anyway. And the other one is, I think that's sriracha sauce, which also has quite a bit of sugar in it. But honestly, at the beginning, what you're doing is trying to get out the refined carbs. So get out, concentrate on the sugar and the bread and the starches first and get them out. There is some starches and carbs in those chicken frankfurters, but I really wouldn't worry too much about it. Boiled eggs, I was using a mayonnaise. I use less mayonnaise now. It has seed oils in it. I try to avoid seed oils, but it's not going to matter if you have a little bit of mayonnaise. And if that's going to make you eat keto, do it. This is arugula rocket salad. So I was strict about the type of lettuce I ate. I would buy rocket leaves, and you get used to them. At the beginning, I didn't really like them, but you get used to them. They're a little bit more bitter. They're actually quite easy to get, but they can go off kind of quickly, which is a good sign. That's raw garlic there. This is uh, cucumber, and there you have some tomato, and I use black pepper and sea salt from the grinder. You get the cheap one, honestly. And then I use apple cider vinegar or balsamic vinegar, but usually apple cider vinegar with some extra virgin olive oil. Now at the beginning you might not like that kind of stuff mixed together, so just take your time, but your palate will change and you will get better at doing these things. So I would say very strict keto for 3 days. You will start to get the keto flu. So now I could tell you it takes 1 day, and 1 day, once you get over the first day, the second day is easier, the third day is easier. So 3 days is really ideal. So but you have to be strict. No fruit allowed. I mean, I've seen people who are doing keto and carnivore. They put up videos and they are eating fruit and blueberries. No, you must be very strict on the sugar that you are ingesting. And fruit has too much sugar, even though it doesn't show up in your CGM. I have a CGM here. It doesn't show up in your CGM because fructose, which is in fruit, sorry, is processed by your liver. So it doesn't show up on the CGM for a couple of days. So be careful. Do not eat fruit. I eat no fruit, except very occasionally for a treat at Christmas and stuff like that. And for polyphenols now and again. But that's only after you've done the weight loss part and become insulin sensitive. You can't do it in the early days. You have to be strict. You've got to be a bit of a bitch to yourself. So and now at the beginning, I was eating big, massive plates of food like this. Don't worry about intermittent fasting. We'll get onto that in another video. So you're doing ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting to clean out your insides, get rid of SIBO, get rid of the sludge that's inside your intestines, and you want to become insulin sensitive from being insulin resistant. And this is where the sweet spot lies. So you will get keto flu between the 3rd day and the 5th day. I would say the 3rd day you'll feel like shit. And that's normal. You have to go through it. There's no way around it. It is the only time you will get the keto flu. I've never had it since, but you will get keto flu. Okay. So the next one is MCT oil. If you're struggling, I used MCT oil early on. Luckily, I found out about these things early on. MCT oil is known as an exogenous ketone. It's medium chain triglyceride. That's MCT, medium chain. So it's in a type of oil, but it does not impact your calories. It is processed only by the liver and causes your body to create ketones. So if you're struggling early on, I would definitely buy this. Now, it might give you a little bit of diarrhea. Listen, if you're changing over from being insulin resistant to insulin sensitive, you're going to get all sorts of funny things happening in your intestines. That's a good thing. So you might have some diarrhea, whatever. Just go with it. Go with it. It's going to be a bit ugly, but there's no other way to do these things. So you're going to have to do it. So MCT oil is about 30 euros in the health food shop. But I have the same bottle for months. You must keep it in the fridge. If you're struggling, I would get some MCT oil. Also, people with dementia and stuff like that, I would give them a spoon of MCT oil every day. Now, you're going to have a little bit of diarrhea. Obviously, you're going to try and get them off the carbs. But if they're eating a lot of carbs, people with dementia and Alzheimer's tend to be mad for the carbs. I'd be giving them a bit of MCT oil and cod liver oil. But anyway, that's up to yourself. So the next one is keto food. Now this is a very bad photograph because it has the steam in it, but chicken stew. So early on, I was trying to find out what will I eat, that I don't have carbs, there's no pasta, whatever. It is very hard. Just remember, when you are coming out of being insulin resistant, the worst part is the actual physical addiction to carbohydrates. So that is the worst part, and psychologically that will mess with your brain. So when you're coming off of being insulin resistant, you will desperately want sugar and carbs because of the sugar desire that is still inside you to have, because you're just remember, you've had your blood sugar spiking the whole time for years and years and years. That blood sugar spike then causes an insulin spike afterwards. And then you've got this hyperinsulinemia going on, and you don't know anything about it until you try to get off of it, and it's like coming off of drugs. I can't say anything else. So more keto food will be beef bolognese. So I use 18% beef. I'm on a budget, so I use passata. I have other videos to show. Now you see there's some yellow bell peppers. I have lots of garlic. I actually use streaky bacon to fry off in the pan first to give this extra flavor. I use soya sauce and Worcestershire sauce and stuff like that to kind of sweeten it up in a kind of a non-sugary way. No pasta, no rice, not even a grain. I was operating my CGM last week. I ate 1 teaspoon of rice, 1 flat teaspoon of rice, and my blood sugar spiked. It's unbelievable. So the next one is probably boiled eggs. Yes. Now, one of my clients did their ketogenic diet, got off being insulin resistant to insulin sensitivity, lost 53 pounds, and they ate boiled eggs, only boiled eggs, because they couldn't cook anything else. So they just did eggs. So 9 eggs for breakfast. Then they fasted until 5 p.m. They ate 9 or 10 eggs at 5 p.m. And then they had another feast of eggs late. Now, normally with intermittent fasting, you try to keep a small eating window. But when you're first coming off insulin resistance, you can do whatever way you can do it. So if you need eggs more often, or you need food more often, as long as it's keto, you can do the boiled eggs. So the boiled eggs is a brilliant one for people who are struggling with the cooking. Just do eggs. That person lost 53 pounds in 3 months and has maintained their weight. This is like a year on. So, and now they've kind of stretched out their diet, and they also have gone back eating some carbs in the evening. But the one rule they stick to is no carbs for breakfast. If you are having breakfast, I don't have breakfast. I have not yet eaten. It is 12:26 p.m. or no, is that a.m.? p.m.? p.m. It's in the midday, and I have not yet eaten, but I would not eat probably 9 boiled eggs, but I'd eat 6 maybe. So sauerkraut is something. Now, I would not introduce these until later on because they tend to confuse you a little bit. So, but later on, when you're on keto, fermented foods are amazing. Kefir is the correct term, I think, and sauerkraut. So I got that sauerkraut in John's stores. It's quite hard to get anywhere else, and I think you might be able to get it in Super Value. And this kefir was bought in Tesco. They don't always have it, but anyway, at least it's becoming more widely available. There's a lot of really good kefir. Always make sure it does not have any added sugar. If it has added sugar, just get it if that's all you can manage. But try and wean out the carbs and the sugar. So the next one is another keto food. So boiled eggs, boiled eggs, boiled eggs. Listen, if you can't do anything else, boiled eggs. Do not worry about the cholesterol in the eggs, because that cholesterol is not contributing in any decent way. It's only contributing like 5% to your internal cholesterol. And what you will learn if you follow me on YouTube is that your cholesterol, my cholesterol is very high. Your cholesterol, but it's good cholesterol. There are different types of cholesterol. My cholesterol is more than it should be on my blood results. But I've been offered a statin, but my cholesterol is good cholesterol. So, and the more cholesterol, the better for your brain. Your brain absolutely adores cholesterol. Cholesterol is needed by every cell in the body. There is a myth about cholesterol out there, and there's also a myth about eggs. They did a study in China it was only on men, but it was up to 10,000 men were involved in the study, up to 36 eggs a day. They were perfect. Absolutely very, very healthy. Greek style yogurt, very, very good as well. This one is from Tesco. I normally get my eggs in Lidl. I find them to be the best quality, but it doesn't really matter. I get the cheapest eggs. It's fine. You'll have keto people telling you you've got to eat the egg from the greatest chicken that was out eating the best grass. That's not possible for everybody. Listen, we're living on a budget. So do it that way. So the next one is no insulin. So what are the things you can have in between? I have coffee here, coffee with cream. Now I have double cream. Ideally, you'll have double or heavy cream, okay, in your coffee. I can drink coffee all day long and I will not spike my insulin. Now in this coffee, I have single cream, which is the normal cream. A lot of keto people think single cream has too many carbs in it and that it will spike your insulin. I don't worry too much about that. I eat so few carbs. My general carb intake when I'm on keto is less than 5 grams a day. And that's true lettuce, cruciferous vegetables. I only stick to cruciferous vegetables in general, but say sometimes I would put carrots in to get the extra variety. Carrots have a higher carb content, but there's lots of fiber in them stuff. And then, as I said, I occasionally eat fruit. Fruit is very good. It's very fibrous. Blueberries, raspberries, kiwis with the skins on, and have them occasionally. You could even, but not if you're on weight loss. If you're on weight loss, or if you're going from insulin resistance to insulin sensitivity, you can have nothing with sugar in it. Sorry, but the cream would be okay, the single cream. But the double cream is ideal, but it's a bit expensive. So you got to think about that as well, obviously, if you're on a budget, which I am on a budget. So use cream in your coffee and you will have no insulin response. So that means I could have coffee all day. So let's say I'm feeling a bit peckish. In the early days, you're going to have a crutch. That was my crutch in the early days because I didn't want to ingest physical food because I said even the kind of wholesomeness of it, I might want other food. So stick to that. So supplements, I'm just going to throw this one in here. I actually believe in the modern world, and as we strive for more longevity, I actually think supplements are important. We tend not to eat enough kind of high quality food. I'm a believer in supplements. I do take quite a few supplements. There's one here that I don't take, which is creatine, but I've heard it's good. You can look into it yourself, and I might do another video about it. But I take electrolytes, sodium chloride, magnesium, and potassium. I buy the cheap magnesium from Tesco, and I find it great. Magnesium will put you to sleep. If you buy the expensive one in the health food shop, I have bought them. They put me to sleep. And I'm not taking them in the evening. So I take this cheap one. Everyone said it's not great absorption. I don't care. It seems to be working perfectly well. I take a multivitamin with iron and minerals. I am a person who suffers from low iron. So I do take, and I don't eat enough red meat. If you're eating steaks all day and you're on carnivore, no problem. Don't buy a multivitamin with iron. Or if you've any kind of ferritin issues or you've high iron in your blood, obviously you're not hemochromatosis or something, you're not going to be taking an iron supplement. I take a supplement called Hair, Skin and Nails, which has copper and manganese and other micronutrients in it. It's from Tesco. It's in a pink and white container down in supplements aisle. I actually find it very good. Copper is very important as well in the absorption of iron and the availability of iron. So that's a kind of an important one. Collagen, I take collagen. I find it great. I only introduced collagen after about a year of being on keto. So don't worry about the supplements too much. I didn't introduce these until I was a while into keto. And then I started doing more investigating. So I felt that it was right for me. I take vitamin C, which helps in the creation of collagen. Since I started taking collagen, I have no creaks, no aches, no nothing. Absolutely fantastic. I feel amazing. I feel like my skin is better. And all the rest. Cod liver oil, absolutely. DHA and EHA. Cod liver oil also has vitamin A and vitamin D and vitamin E. Critical. I really think that is a really critical one. Glycine, lysine, and proline, they are very good for your cells, every cell in your body. I actually also take iodine. I forgot to put that one in. And creatine, I've heard is good. All right. So I would say do it, try it, go for it. Honestly, it will change your life mentally and physically. If you've any kind of mental illness, if you've any kind of physical illness where you feel like you are chronically tired, you will feel incredible. And the most surprising thing for me is the confidence, the level of confidence, and the physical and mental fortitude that I feel all the time. It is unbelievable. I will never go back. And yet, last night I had almost a bottle of wine and a couple of bags of potatoes, and my blood sugar, even though it went up, I'll show you there now. You won't be able to see because it's too small on this. You'll see there's a spike. Ooh. I can't even show it. So I had it wasn't a huge spike, but the reason it wasn't a huge spike is because I'm insulin sensitive. So when I eat carbs now, and I eat chocolate, and I eat a pan of chocolate, when I eat carbs now, my body will handle that blood sugar really well because I am able to deal with the insulin. So you want to get where I am, and you should really try. It will be hard at the beginning. I can't remember how hard it was because now it seems like it was the best thing I ever did. So peace out, guys. I will be making more videos, and thank you so much for your support, and I hope that you get some benefit out of this video.